Channel. Welcome to 15th day of 31 days of we. We as in women empowerment. If you don't already know, you're about to know. Kareen Mills here. It rhymes with bills. You know the one. The dollar bills. My YouTube channel is dedicated to women empowerment in the financial independence arena. I want you women to have your own financial freedom. I want you women to start taking names. We empower women to get rich and then give because there's no fun in getting rich without sharing your wealth. There is no fun in getting rich without creating multiple streams of impact. You guys, we have a great topic of conversation tonight. We are going to talk about the situation, and I'm going to teach by the end of the decade, hopefully, because I have a decade sort of a runway that I'm running here on YouTube. I'm dedicated to my YouTube channel for the next decade since January 1st of 2024. And I'm telling you, hopefully, you don't have to wait until 10 years later, but by the end of the decade, from 2024 to 2034, you are going to understand that credit is such a simple thing. Hopefully, they don't get rid of our credit system, right? But it is such a simple thing to understand. So let's dive deep into the discussion for this evening. Let me share my screen to all of you, my wonderful women out there looking at this live today. Welcome. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. And I always leave resources down below. I've got so many resources and links down below. It is unbelievable. So let me go ahead and let's talk about this because even if this has not happened to you, it may happen to your kids, it may happen to your coworkers, it may happen to even you in the future because until you're dead, you are not done on this planet. And what awesome information would it be? Not only that you have it in your arsenal, but now you can gift it to somebody. And having the resource in my YouTube channel, simply all you do instead of explaining it to them is, hey, have you watched this Kareen Mills rhymes with bills, dollar bills lady on YouTube? Well, here's her YouTube, and here's that potential solution to your issue. Now, the title of tonight's lesson says my credit score dropped from 785 to 690. Help, help. Okay. So if this is you, please listen up. If you know anybody, please share. If you have a really amazing credit, just like this person, 785, sub 800 credit, you are doing amazing. Keep it up. But life can happen. So listen up because life is always seasonal. There's the good season, the bad season, the winter time, the springtime, all that season. So welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's dive deep. Okay. Credit drops from 785 to 690. Please help. And the whole situation, I want to just give you a disclaimer about this because your situation, if you're listening to this right now, might not be exactly the same as this person's situation. So take it with a grain of salt because until I really get to sit down with you and look at your personal situation, it's not going to really matter to you what this person is going through. But it's going to be a good tool in your toolbox for future or to help other people because life is all about helping others. The meaning of life is to be able to share your knowledge and your expertise or whatever you learned with others. So make sure you share this to people that may be rebuilding their credit or they just simply don't understand credit. I simplify it here. in your financial journey. So the situation is, here we go. I got an Apple credit card. First of all, do not get an Apple credit card. Don't get credit cards that are co-branded credit cards. I know for those of you that do credit card sequencing, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're a baby in the credit card world and you're just trying to build credit, co-branded credit cards might be a good option for you. And Apple Credit is one of those co-branded credit cards. So this individual says I got an Apple credit card and had no idea that my Apple subscription payments would switch over to that card. Now, I don't know if there's some truth or white lie to this, but usually it doesn't just switch over, right? Without anyone updating the card. But maybe it's true. Personally, I don't have an Apple card. It does not entice me to get it, especially those people that have really amazing credit. You don't need to get Apple card. And the more you learn about credit cards and the value of credit cards, the more you will realize that these co-branded credit cards are really not that great unless you are like me. When I was new to this country, I was an immigrant, 24 years ago. Co-branded credit cards, let me tell you what co-branded credit cards I got. I had a JC Penney to start my credit. I had a secured credit card. I think I had a Target credit card. You know, those credit cards are really for people that are babies in credit card world or just trying to build or rebuild your credit card. Those are perfect for that season in your life. But if the season in your life, you got like a 785 credit score, you should not be vying for Apple credit cards or a lot like unless it makes super so much sense for you, aligned with your goals. So, moving on, I never used a card, so haven't set up auto pay. And today I looked at my credit and I was 30 days late on those $30 of Apple payments. $30. Ouch. He's 30 days late. He or she, I don't know if it's a he or she. This person was 30 days late on those $30 of Apple payments. Like it's one thing if it was 3,000, even then that's still ouch. It's another that it was only 30 bucks. So it's an oversight. It sounds like it's an oversight um on this person's side, right? It was an oversight. He didn't know that that the card was going to switch to the Apple card. I wonder if you are going to get an Apple card, this would be a good information for you to also learn because it might follow your Apple ID. I don't know if you have to put in your Apple ID when you apply for an Apple credit card. And maybe that's why it automatically just used your Apple credit card for the subscription payments that you had that resulted to a 30-day late on those $30 of Apple payments. That is an ouch because you're looking at 785 to 690. That's literally a 95-point drop. And that's how hurtful lates are. The longer the late is, the more detrimental it is to your score. So, with that being said, just from this one paragraph, I need you guys to understand that the game of credit is played well when you are well organized. So, if credit is a game and you are the player, in order for you to win the credit game as a player, you need to play to win. And one way to play to win when it comes to credit is to be well organized. Well, Kareen, I hate being organized. I am a very disorganized person. Okay, do you like a lower credit score and having to pay too high of interest rates because you are a self-professed disorganized person? Or do you want to change that behavior and shift into getting organized or maybe using tools? Like personally, I am not organized, you guys, but I know myself so much. Like get to know yourself. And once you get to know yourself, like for me, I know that without tools and without certain strategies, I am going to be all by myself, disorganized. That's why I use tools. Now, it's up to you if you use old school tools, which, by the way, Excel spreadsheet is not that old school. Now, writing on the calendar and pen to paper, that's old school. So I like to use spreadsheets personally. I'm an X Gen, and maybe as a, I don't know what your generation is, millennial, maybe you like to use apps. I like to use apps for certain things, but for these types of things, I do love using also as a plan B or a backup or another layer of organization is a calendar. Because, or you can also do alarms. You have a smartphone, use your smartphone for smart things. There's notes in your smartphones. Now, if you're like me, you have an iPhone. I don't have an Android. Kudos to those who are Android users because I know it becomes like a battle of who's better. That's not what we're going to talk about tonight. But if you have a smartphone, it doesn't matter which one. There's always going to be a notes feature in there and write it down. Create an alarm for it or something. Like my life is literally organized because of alarms, iPhone notes, spreadsheets. Like without those things, I am disorganized. So, if you want to make a commitment to winning the game of credit or money or finances, you're going to have to make a commitment to get organized because little things like this gets overlooked and little things like this impacts you in a huge way as you can already see. 785 to 690. So that was only paragraph 1, you guys, and we've already talked about it, I don't know, for the last 7 minutes or 8. Paragraph number 2. Is there anything I can do or people to speak with to try and cover up this late fee? It was my first late payment ever. Now, my question, if I get the opportunity to speak to this individual, which I'm not going to because they're not a member of RAW, which is Rich Anonymous Women, my question would be is, okay, if you've never been late before and this is your first late ever, how thick is your credit profile? Because if you just started your profile 6 months ago or 12 months ago or even 2 years ago, your statement that says it was my first late payment ever as if it was not such a big deal is not going to fly. But if you've had 25 years, 30 years, 20 years of credit life profile, then that may fly. So it's really relative to your situation. That's why I always say a disclaimer that this is not a situation for everybody. Everybody's situation is different until I get to sit down and look at your own situation and really look at and read your profile. I cannot give you any advice. That's why you should not be listening to influencers giving you advice when they are not or they haven't taken the time to look at any of your profile. So with that being said, that would be my first question to this person is, okay, if you're making it such a big deal that this is your first late payment ever since when? Because if it's ever since 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago, then that's not going to fly. And there's no one out there you can talk to make a difference. But if it's been a long time and you've been, first of all, you just got this Apple credit. You don't have a long-term relationship with Apple yet. And so you just got this and you already messed it up. There might not be anybody you can talk to convince to try and reverse this decision or reporting. So it might just be a timing thing, a seasonality thing where you just have to season this mishap and promise yourself you're not going to do it again. Because if I was the creditor, you have to think about the creditor side, right? If I was the creditor and I just literally extended you something, I just trusted you with something. So here's how their algorithm works. I just literally issued you a credit card, an Apple credit card, and I just essentially trusted you because you had 785 credit score when I looked at your credit score, and then immediately you messed it up and lost my trust. This is how it works, you guys. Therefore, I'm going to report you as a 30-day late. And of course, there's going to be late fees, all kinds of other things. There's layers to this. So you want to like start thinking about that, not just being entitled about these types of things. So let's take a look at the next slide because it is in the next slide where it truly matters. And this is the part where I keep telling you there's really only 5 things you need to memorize when it comes to your FICO score, not Vantage 3.0 score, not Credit Karma, because Credit Karma don't bring you good karma. It is Vantage 3.0. It's not even the same. When I say there's only 5 things you need to know about credit, these are the 5 things. So in this case, he went late and almost his score dropped almost 100. I'm just using he because I don't know. I don't know if it's a he or a she. I don't know the pronoun. So I'm just using he in this example. Almost 100 points. That's because you know why? Here's why. Da da da. Payment history is the biggest factor, the biggest ingredient when it comes to your credit. Of course, it's going to drop huge because payment history is huge. The problem with payment history, if you can't remedy it, and I'm going to give you a couple tips to remedy it, but I don't know if it's going to work. It really truly depends on a lot of other factors from a relationship, how long you've had it, what your profile looks like, et cetera, et cetera. Who you talk to when you call. It really makes a difference, whoever you're talking to when you call. Payment history. That's the biggest chunk of your score, of your FICO 8 score. So if you messed it up and you're 30 days late, just expect your score to drop significantly. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about today. I know there's other factors, but in this case, I'm only going to talk about payment history because that's what's affecting the situation. That's what's causing the score to drop by 95 points overnight. Overnight. Some of the remedies that may or may not work for you, depending on your profile, depending on your relationship with a financial institution, and depending on who you're speaking to and how respectful and courteous you are. Because here's another thing you got to remember, people. They're humans on the other side. You can't just maltreat them, especially when you're the one asking for a favor. You need to be as nice as possible and you need to use magic words like please, thank you. It makes a huge difference. It really does. So, first attempt to remedy the situation is call the financial institution and ask for late payment forgiveness. There's a couple of things on this late payment thing when you speak with them. In your conversation, again, use magic words. You are not, I repeat, you are not on the leverage position here. You are in the begging position. Professionally, do not act like you're such an entitled brat when you speak to them. Don't think that they owe you anything when you speak to them in that manner. Please be respectful. Ask for late payment forgiveness. So, the forgiveness can come in 2 different ways. Number one, they can escalate depending on who you speak to. They can escalate and ask to reverse the reporting. That would be my first way of this late payment forgiveness. Hey, is there any way or anybody I can talk to, please, to see if there's a way to reverse this reporting? This is my first late offense in the last however many years I've been doing business with you. In this case, I don't know how this is going to work because you just got the card. You literally just got entrusted the card and you broke the trust. But it doesn't hurt to try. And the second way is if you can't, you'll have to kind of let it flow and see if they'll do it. And then another time, what you'll do is if they can't do that, try and do the other angle. At least it'll save you some money. If they can't remove the reporting and reverse the reporting, you can at least try and ask for the late fee to be waived. So if there's like a $35 late fee, at least it's $35 into your pocket, but give them some space and time to see if they can do the reversal process. They're probably going to try and have a supervisor do it if you ask nicely, but I don't know if they're going to make it happen. They're definitely going to try. In my experience, they always try to escalate it, especially when you call and you're super nice about it. And then give it some space and time, maybe 30 days to see if they do anything. And then if that doesn't work, or even if it does work, it's always good to ask. Call again and ask for the $30, $35, $25 late payment fee to be waived for just a one-time exception, and promise them you'll never do it again. And when you make a promise, you need to be good with your words because they will notate that. And if they notate that and they document that, which is most likely they will, and you have an oversight again, that's a double distrust on your part. So those are the two ways you can do that. And then if none of those works, because you always want to try and work with the vendor, you don't ever want to try and skip that part because this is your fault. Like you own up to it, you let them know, I did not know. You tell the truth and nothing but the truth. And then if none of those works, try and go to each individual bureau and do a dispute. Now, there is no guarantee that any of these is going to work. But I know that I've tried it on my own. I created a case. Like you have to have, if you're not on the leverage position, you really have to have a really good story and a really good case. And it's all got to be the truth. And you've got to set your tone when you deliver the truth that you are regretful of it and you promise to never do it again. And if none of those work, you can give the dispute a shot. Might work, it may not work, but give it a shot because it's worth almost 100 points. This is a painful one. Late marks and derogatory marks are a very painful one because these are really the only thing you can do and try, and it's not guaranteed to work. And if it is not guaranteed to work, and if it doesn't work for you, the only other way you can sort of remedy this is just a waiting game. And while you're on the waiting game, don't do it again because the fresher it is, the more it is detrimental to your credit. And that's pretty much it. Guys, if you like this, make sure you share it with somebody. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more training so you can get to be in the know. Join Raw, by the way. Raw is Rich Anonymous Women. It is my private community housed in a private Facebook group curated by you, the women inside my private Facebook group, by asking very specific, customized, bespoke question for your own financial journey and situation. Without asking, you will not get an answer inside there. So you curate your experience inside Rich Anonymous Women. The link is in the resources below. Make sure you take a tour on the link. Rich Anonymous Women is where financial independence meet girl power. I'm also a business coach and a dynamic speaker. So I'm open to speaking in terms of money, finances. I've been in the financial industry for quite a long time. It's been, let's see, oh my gosh, it's 25 minutes. It's been since 2000 since I came to America. So, that being said, thanks for dropping by. Make sure you come back tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel so you get to be notified when I go on live here every single day for the month of March.